Okay. Well, you're in the House, and the House, in its wisdom, voted 56-49 on Monday to name Taylor Barras, a Republican, as Speaker of the House. You voted with the majority as a Republican, although there were 7 GOP members to cross party lines and vote for Walt Leger, who ended up becoming Speaker pro tem. What's your take on how things turned out?
Well, I was pleased how things turned out, of course, because I wanted to vote for someone within the Republican delegation, and I also think it gives some independence to the House to actually vote for the House to decide who our next speaker is going to be. Both candidates, well, they were actually, it's sort of interesting how it took place. Sunday night, going into the vote on Monday, there were only 2 candidates that I was aware of, Representative Cameron Henry, who's a Republican, and Representative Walt Leger, who's a Democrat. And as of Sunday night, it looked like the Republicans had a meeting. It looked like Representative Cameron Henry would not have enough votes to win, and so a third candidate came and was recruited by the Republicans, Representative Taylor Barras, to run on Monday, and then another Democrat, Representative Neil Abramson, ran on Monday, and we went into the session Monday morning. Ticked everyone. We had 53 votes, we thought, between Representative Henry and Representative Barras. On the first ballot, we actually got 54 votes, so we knew at that time if Representative Henry dropped out, Representative Barras would win.
And that's what happened. This is Jim Engster. Thank you for joining us. Our guest is Franklin Foyle, state representative from Baton Rouge, who's now starting his 3rd term. When he came to the House of Representatives on January 14th, 2008, same day that Jon Bel Edwards became a state representative, and also the same day that Bobby Jindal became the governor of Louisiana. Now, Franklin Foyle has much in common with the governor. They're both military veterans. Franklin Foyle is a captain in the U.S. Navy, and he is a lawyer, and he, of course, was in the House with the man who is now the governor of Louisiana. How well do you know Jon Bel Edwards?
I know him very well. He and I have a lot in common. As you said, we're both attorneys. We both have 3 children. Our wives know each other. He's a good man, and I look forward to working with him in his new position in the governor's office.
Does he seem like a guy who can work with the Republican Party, which will be a necessity for anything to get done?
I think he can. He is very practical, and he likes to get things accomplished. He's very committed to higher education, which I think most of us are. And he also recognizes the traffic and infrastructure problems we have, not only around the state, but especially in Baton Rouge. And that's something we're all going to work together on here in our delegation.
Now, Taylor Barras, he came in same day, didn't he? As
he
both
sure
you
did.
and Jon Bel Edwards. You were both freshmen in 2008. 2008, January 14th, 2008. I remember the day. And on that day, Bobby Jindal in his inaugural address talked about ethics and how it would be the gold standard. What a nice luxury that would be, to be talking about ethics rather than this budget catastrophe. Is it as bad as it's being portrayed?
I'm afraid it is. When I first came in, as you're right, in 2008 we had budget surpluses and we were coming off Katrina, so it was a much different situation. But unfortunately, we're looking at about $2 billion between this year and next year. And part of the frustration is that we did not get good information this last session, and so that's why we have part of the reason we have the shortfall. Of course, with the drop in oil prices, that's part of it. But there was a big hit with DHH and how much Medicaid's going to cost of about $500 million.
Well, the new man who's in charge of the House, the new man of the House, is Taylor Barras from New Iberia, and he is a guy who's from the banking industry. And how was he ordained as the compromise candidate?
You know, there were several names who were floated around, and Taylor Barras really knows the tax credits and the tax issues because of his banking interests. He served on the Ways and Means Committee for 8 years, and he's made several presentations to the freshmen recently about these issues, and I think that really impressed them. And he's also sort of soft-spoken. He's even-tempered and fits the build, I think, for a good speaker.
Well, he will have to work with a guy he probably knows pretty well, and Jon Bel Edwards. And Jon Bel Edwards, when they were elected, and you along with them, they were both Democrats, weren't they, at that time?
They were. Taylor Barras was a Democrat when he first got elected. He votes fairly conservative and votes with a lot of the business interest on business issues. And he did change in 2011, as a lot of Democrats, several Democrats in the House, to actually put the House in the majority for the Republicans.
Now, the Medicaid expansion, the governor immediately seized upon that, as he said he would, and even the other Republicans running for governor indicated they would do it, but with some waivers. What do you think about how it turned out? Did the governor make the right call on this or the wrong call?
Well, I was open to accepting the Medicaid expansion, and last year in the legislature I voted for a bill that would give the governor the flexibility. My concern is I hope that by accepting this in the way that Governor Edwards did, that it doesn't cause financial problems for the state. My goal and hope is that it will actually help the state financially and provide greater access to medical services for the poor. So at this point in time, I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out with